Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another story time. Man, I feel like everybody got a story like this at some point in their life. So let's just get into the tea. For context, I'm 21 years old. I was class of 2020 for high school. And has anybody else just feel like, is it just us being the pandemic babies or what? I feel like I have not had good success with making friends like outside high school. It's like I would make friends and then it would turn out like this, or I would become cool with a bunch of people with someone I was dating and then we would break up, or I would meet someone at work and then they would be weird, or it would be a dude and then he would want to be my friend and comment below if you relate to me. But let's get into the story about this specific friend. So it all starts in 2020 in college, freshman year. So unlike a lot of other people, well, depending on what state you were in, I was in California where we cared about COVID. So a lot of people in California didn't really go to school their freshman year if they were class of 2020, but I did. I moved into the dorms. That school wanted some money, so you could move into the dorms and do school online. And I just wanted to be out, try this, have somewhat of the closest college experience I could. And also, it was a school I didn't even really want to go to. So my parents, I have an amazing parents who will make it happen if that's what I want to do. So I did that. I moved into the dorms. I had one roommate and it was very regulated. It was of course there's kids on campus, but it's not like the full experience where you're going to class, you're having all these big events because we can't because it's COVID. So it was cool, but it was still I never really got the full on experience. So I moved in, I had a roommate that I chose. We were both, black girls who were on that thing give me a black roommate. If you go to a PWI, we were both oh my God, we were literally looking, I was looking for you, and we found each other and we moved in. And she was pretty cool, but she was really sheltered and more on the worrying side. I'd rather stay in or not do this, or hadn't really done many things because she was really sheltered. We were still friends, but our personalities didn't exactly match to that point. But this story is not about her. It's about another girl I met. So, just from, I don't know if about your college, but when I went to college, there was freshman pages and these ways you could connect, especially during COVID. And we found, these other black girls who were roommates, but they were actually friends from when they were really young. So I remember we met them. I don't remember exactly how we linked up, but we followed each other and then we hung out probably the first week we moved in and stuff. And we were cool. We made a group chat and all that. Out of this group, plus there was two other girls, but they're not really as relevant to the story. But we're gonna name the girl I became close with out of this group Candace, and we're gonna name her roommates Jada. Okay, so I became really close with Candace. We both had more similar personalities. I don't know, when you meet someone and you just click and you're oh my God, I just feel we're closer. I could see myself hanging out with her more than all these other people. That's what we felt, how we felt. We would always be yapping. Anytime I didn't have a car, I'm on the campus, but she did. She was the type of friend who'd be you want to go here with me? You want to go there with me? Blah, blah, blah. I think her roommate had a boyfriend and would take up a lot of her time with that and stuff like that. But yeah, so we just became really cool friends. So mind you, how I told you Candace, the girl I got really close with, and Jada were roommates, but they were friends since they were young. I think she said elementary school. Y'all know how people be don't move in with your friends? It kind of started giving that. She would start telling me all this stuff about Jada, how when they moved in together, it seemed their friendship was falling apart. She would just tell me that she would start to be super rude to her, super bossy. Because I think she said the dynamic had always kind of been that it was like that type of friendship, but she said it like worsened when they moved. Like she would be passive aggressive or whatever, and like she really started to like not feel comfortable living there. She would just tell me that she would like be really rude to her. She would, I think at this point she had broken up with her boyfriend. She said she would just have like random dudes in the house, like just not communicate with her. Just like when people be like, my roommate was terrible, it was basically given that. But it was kind of crazy because it's like, this is your childhood friend turning into that person, right? And I would just be like, dang girl, like basically I started to become like a closer friend because like her bestie from college started treating her like shit. It was basically just given their dynamic was like, it gave like big sister, it gave like toxic big sister. Like she didn't care what she had to say, she would like belittle her. And it was just like she said it got to the point where they weren't even really like talking like that much while living together. When that's your childhood best friend, I'd be like, dang. But anyway, so she would tell me all this and I would always just be like, I'm a Scorpio, y'all, so I've gotten better at this, but I'm like that mom friend. I'm like that friend that's gonna be like, why is she treating you like that? Like, say something. Don't let her treat you like that. Like, I don't give if we're new friends or if it's your childhood friend, like what you just telling me how terrible and uncomfortable she was making her in her home, I would just be like, girl, like, don't take that. Like, if you feel like this, like, don't be friends with her or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I was that type of friend. But a lot of times when she would tell me this stuff, like, she would, like, retract and be like, well, or I would come over and they would seem all, la, la, la. And so I would just be like, I get friends go through things, but it's like she would talk so much shit about this girl and just that she's this and she's that and she makes me so uncomfortable and yada yada yada, and that it's like bothering her. But then like when I would come over, it would just be like they were a happy family. And like I get it, like she went back and forth sometimes and was like, oh well, she's doing better or whatever, but I would still just be like, okay. So mind you, y'all, the dynamic between her and this friend, it's like when your friend is dealing with like a toxic dude where they tell you like, oh, this, that, I'm over this, and then they come back and they're like, well, never mind, or he's doing better. Like it was given that. So it was like, it was kind of annoying, like from like a mom friend type of thing, because I'm like, why are you letting her do that? Or like blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's my friend and I'm a support whatever you do, and like it's not my relationship, so I can only do so much. But she finally started standing on business at the end of the semester. So I guess Jada had decided that like her parents said it was too expensive, it was still online, that she was just gonna move out this semester and go online and move back in. Because honestly, a lot of us didn't live like too far from the school. So it was like, yeah. So, but you know how I just told y'all that she didn't tell Candace that or anyone. Like she kind of just up and left. Like I said, because it was to the point where the relationship was so, she was like, I feel uncomfortable. Like we're kind of barely talking. And she kind of just like let it out, like kind of last minute, and just left Candace shocked. Like, what? You're moving out and blah, blah, blah. And just the way she did it was like super messy, was not giving, this is my best friend since I was a kid, right? And so she told me that, I'm like, what? And she told me that like the whole moving process was just so messy. But she said that's when she finally started to get fed up and be like, I'm done, like this is that, this and that. Like obviously if you've ever been to school or moved somewhere, like they're very strict about like moving out, they charge you for this, they charge you for that. And since Candace was gonna be like the only one left with this dorm apartment on her name, her leaving stuff or not cleaning this out is like, it's a problem. So they would go back and forth over stuff like that. And she was like, my nice friend was finally standing on business. She was like, girl, like I just took her stuff and I just like threw it out the door, and I was like, no, like you can't come pick it up, like it's outside, like come get it, blah blah. And I was like, okay girl, like, because it was one of those messy situations where she gave her so many chances. So I was so proud of her for like, okay girl, like I know it's hard if it's your childhood friend, but you're standing up for yourself and you're taking your power back, like okay, period. So that was that. Okay, after Jada moved out, Candace basically didn't really talk to her. She was just like, I'm done. I'm over it. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. And I was like, okay, period, girl. I was proud of her for choosing herself. Fast forward. So fast forward some couple months. Like I said, I get it. I get it. Things happen. It's hard when you have connections with people. She starts being like, I'm kind of feeling bad about the situation. I kind of want to talk to Jada. Like, I kind of, and I'm just like, oh my God. Like I said, it's literally like when your friend is dealing with a dude, like, I kind of changed my mind. I kind of want to check up on them and see. Like, that's literally what it was giving. It was so toxic. And I'm just like, girl, like, my friends already know how I am. Like, if they got rid of someone who treats them terribly, I'm like, but of course, at the end of the day, I'm not your mom. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm like, girl, you already know how I feel. Like, I feel like she was really messed up to you and you don't owe her nothing, whatever. But I'm like, I mean, if you want to say something, girl, like, I'm not going to stop you. Like, she was feeling like she wanted to reach out. Like, I remember we were talking about it. And she was just like, yeah, okay, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. Hold up. Another thing I forgot to mention is that during this time when they lived together, there was this other girl. Remember how I said there was like two other girls that were like, we used to kind of hang out with too? I remember she said they had like a sleepover. And again, like, it was like, Jada was and the other girl were basically just like tag teaming her at the sleepover, like making her feel stupid, like, you know, like just mean girl energy. So I just want to say, on top of that, that's another instance of the type of relationship this was. So after that, Candace ends up telling me like, hey, we talked and we're just gonna try again, yada yada yada. And I'm just like, okay, all right. Like I said, I'm not your mom. I don't support it after all that. But like, you know, people don't always stand on business. Sometimes there's things to work out, whatever. So that was fine. Until it all led up to this one day where our friendship just came crashing down. And mind you, before even all this happened, I'm like, I should have, well, not that I should have known, but I was like, I feel like I could have saw this coming. Because y'all know, when you're friends with someone who's always talking shit about other people or their other friends, why would you not think they're doing the same thing to you? Because I'm like, this girl's her childhood best friend, and she's always talking about her to me. Like, I understand some of the stuff was like bad. It was the way she treated her. She needed a vent. But some of it would just be like whatever too, where I'm just like, if you guys are childhood best friends, shouldn't you be like telling her how you feel? Like voicing your opinion, seeing if you guys could work out. Because a lot of times I don't really think she would do that. I think she would just take it and talk shit to me. But like, so I could have peeped that. But anyway, so by now I think it's the summer after our first year of college, but we still lived like pretty close, like within 30 minutes of each other. We would still hang out. And so I remember this one day, like, she picked me up and we went somewhere, and I remember she just started venting to me about something very interesting. So she starts talking about TikTok. And for context of the story, this girl is half, okay, and
one who is 3/4 massa and 1/4 coon.
Y'all know how on TikTok, the Black community in general, we make a lot of jokes. Okay, I'm not saying all of them are right, but yeah. And so she starts to tell me how she's seeing jokes about like mixed people and like whatever, and how it's bothering her. And I'm listening. I'm just like, okay. But then she proceeds to be like, yeah, I just feel like some Black girls just like hate mixed girls for no reason. Bitch, what? So when she says that, I'm like, girl, what? And mind you, you're talking to a Black girl right now. Both my parents are Black. So I was like, girl, what are you talking about? She's like, I don't know. I just see all these videos and blah, blah. I'm like, girl, I'm not going to tell someone how to feel if these jokes or whatever are hurting your feelings. But I'm like, girl, like at the end of the day, I was like, it's jokes. I don't think they actually hate you. And like I said, she's talking to a Black girl with two Black parents right now. So I'm like, girl, nobody hates you. Like, they're just jokes. But she was just like so convinced that they did. And I just think it's very strange because, like I said, I'm not going to say what people are able to be offended by, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, when the Black community makes jokes about light-skinned people or mixed people, whatever, it's just like, to me, at the end of the day, it's a joke because it is never going to be the same weight to the actual systemic colorism and racism that people who appear with more heavy Black features face, you know? So when she's all like, oh, like, I feel like they hate me for no reason and stuff, I'm kind of just like side-eyeing her like, girl, you're being delusional. Like, it's just a joke. It's literally whatever. Like, the conversation kind of got like arguing because if you follow me, you know we don't play that over here. Like, I was just like, girl, like, nobody hates you. Like, I don't know. And I'm like, at the end of the day, too, I'm kind of like, why is she venting to me about this? I'm like, girl, I'm not biracial like you, girl. My mama is Black. Like, I'm just like, did she think I was gonna like relate or agree with her? I was like, girl, whatever. But I think we eventually just like dropped it because I was getting kind of heated, like, girl, you sound dumb. But anyway, that happened. It kind of made me like raise some eyebrows about her and her morals or ways of thinking, because I was just kind of like, girl, this is kind of weird. Anyway, whatever, we're in the middle of hanging out. So the next day, remember how I told you that Candace, which is the girl who's actually my friend, and Jada, who was her childhood friend, that they ended up making up, right? They ended up making up. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So I wake up the next day. She puts me in a group chat with her, Jada, the girl from that sleepover who was like bullying her with Jada, and my roommate. I'm like, okay. She puts me in a group chat and she's all like, guys, like, I'm so excited for Halloween. Like, more stuff's gonna be open in a couple months. Like, we should do like a group Cheetah Girls costume, and we should go here and we should go there and we should go everywhere. So I'm reading this and I'm kind of just like, and if y'all are wondering why my reaction is like that, let me tell you. Imagine someone always complaining about someone, always talking shit about someone, always saying they're this, they're that, they treat them so bad. And you as a friend obviously take this into consideration, or like, I don't really mess with them like that because they treat you like that. And you obviously have an opinion of them from your friend, from this girl. And then this bitch is putting you in group chats and wanting you guys to hang out like a happy family. Like, you're not always in my ear talking shit about her. So I'm just like, what? Like, I'm confused by this group chat. I'm like, okay, I see this and I'm automatically annoyed. Because I'm like, okay, girl, like, you made up with her even after all this terrible stuff. And I don't even want to say, like, too much about the type of stuff this girl did. But she literally told me this was a girl. So Candace was a victim of SA. And she literally told me that this girl would like make jokes or like downplay her story. That's what her best friend used to do to her. And now you making up with this girl. You putting me in group chats with her. Can't stop fucking playing with me. It's like stuff like that is the reason I was really like this. So I'm immediately annoyed. I'm like, girl, you can make up with people who treat you like shit. That's none of my business. But why are you now wanting me to hang out with her and be a happy family? Like, after all that, like, it's just the morals. It's a Scorpio in me. I'm like, girl. So I text her and I'm just like, hey, Candace, like, I just want to say I seen the group chat and I know you guys are cool now, but I'm like, if you want me to all of a sudden just be cool with her and forget like everything you told me about her, I was like, I just want to say, like, I don't want to like hear you talking about her to me all the time. Because I'm like, it just seems fake if you want to talk about this girl all the time and then you want me to hang out with her now, but you want me to act like everything's okay. I'm like, it's just fake. And I feel like if you're going to like, if this is your decision, you're going to be friends with her. I was like, I just feel like I don't want to go through that and hear all that again. Y'all, why in this bitch's response, she gets snappy with me like immediately, talking about, I knew you would say something like this. Bitch, what? She's like, this was, mind you, this was like 3-4 years ago, so it's a little, But she's just like, I knew you would say something like this eventually. Ugh, you can't let stuff like this go. I knew you. I was literally like, girl, who are you talking to? What do you mean? I knew you would say something like this. I'm like, I'm communicating how I feel to you as a friend about that. I don't want to be around all these fake people or have you be fake and then keep someone around. Like, it's my personal boundaries. Like, I don't roll that way. And she's just being so catty. Like, I knew this was coming. You're so this and this. You're so this and that. Oh, I was like, oh, and you know how I told you guys, like the story time of when my cousin let a racist attack me. Go watch that story. I'm not about that. I'm not about the Twitter fingers, girl. So I'm like, oh, she wants to, girl, answer the phone. So
this bitch that had a lot to say about me the other day in the press. Miley, what's good?
I started calling her. I'm like, this girl's not about to be all catty over the text. Like, girl, pick up the phone right now. Pick up the phone right now. And I'm calling her. She's like, I can't answer right now. I'm like, why? What are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm just busy, blah, blah, blah. So basically, like, she just has me gagged. Because I'm like, she's literally turning on me, calling me all this stuff, being so rude out of nowhere. And we're like, we haven't ever really had an argument. So I'm like, her just lashing out on, I'm like, oh, girl, you been felt like this. But again, it was like, girl, what did I expect if she literally always talked shit about her childhood best friend, her sister? I'm like, why would I not think she would turn on me like this either? So I'm just like, okay, if this bitch isn't gonna pick up the phone, because I'm not about to do this. I'm already hot by how this girl's coming at me for communicating how I feel. Like, that text did not come with any anger. I remember I showed my boyfriend at the time. I showed my sister. I was like, does this sound like tense? Like, they were like, no, like, it sounds pretty normal. Even though I was mad, I sent a calm, collected text about how I felt. She want to come back with attitude coming for me. Like, she ain't friends with some fake bitch. So I'm like, when she's not answering the phone, she just keeps texting paragraphs about this, paragraphs about that. Girl, you're this and that. Girl, this and that. I just literally let her say all that, and I just ignored her. I just ignored her because, bitch, I'm not about to give you that satisfaction, get even more mad texting your dumbass back. You want to be like, no, nar. So yeah, guys, that happens. She's still talking a lot of, I just let her say everything and I don't say a word back. And I just unfollow her off everything. Because, girl, no. You're not about to get my energy today. You're not about to get my energy today. Like,
you bitch.
Like, I'm telling y'all, the block button is my favorite button. If you guys follow me on TikTok, I'm sure my blocks on TikTok is in the hundreds, because TikTok is where I have my biggest platform. And if a dude wants to say anything weird, I get a lot of guys on live. They'll say sexual things or racist things or just make fun of me. You're blocked immediately, because, girl, this is my reality. And on Instagram, I say it's probably about 30. It's getting longer, though. Like I said, anyone who's ever had me messed up or on Reels, when I see some racist Reels or some dumb opinions on Reels, block, because I don't want to see your content no more. Never. So yeah, y'all, that was the story of my fake college. She was low-key like my bestie, like, my fake college bestie. Man, my roommate turned out to be fake too, but that's a whole nother story. It's a short story, but anyway, yeah, I never looked back. I just have not had good times with making friends post high school now. Like, I swear, like, all my bitches are from high school right now. Or there'll be like people I'm cool with, but like the people I hang out with and still see to this day are like friends I've known for a really long time, which I don't want to downplay that, because I think that's really beautiful too. Not a lot of people have, you know, friendships from childhood or friendships over the years. So I do love that too and appreciate my friends if you watching this. But yeah, y'all, that is a story. If you have a fake friend story, comment down below. Tell me. I want to hear the tea. I feel like everybody does. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel because I think you laughed a little bit, didn't you? You did? Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of this story time, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!